What's going on, my friends? I know in my last video I talked about Logic Pro, and I mean, I've just completed my verse track in it and I love it. You know, like any doll that you have, there's going to be things you wish you had, like little features that aren't in here that were in the others, and you have to kind of figure out what you're willing to live with and what you're not willing to live with. I know with Logic Pro, there's going to be a couple of extra steps. In other words, when I'm exporting all my individual tracks, in Reason, it would just bounce. When you export mixer channels or bounce them, render them, like whatever the terminology was, it put them all into a folder and it had them all named. I don't see that on here, and maybe it's there. I'm just not seeing it. The only thing I'm seeing is exporting all tracks, and it doesn't even put it into a folder. It just throws them all into my desktop because that's where I sent them to, and they're not labeled as to what's what. So I've got to figure out how all this works, because it's interesting, you know. But it's like, listen, I take the good with the bad all day long. The ease of everything else makes up for it. It really does so far. So I'm loving it so far. It really is cool. I kind of jokingly made my announcement in the Reason group on Facebook that I'm loving some Logic Pro. You know, there, I said it. You know, all the Logic Pro haters and stuff. Sorry. But, you know, I have to go with the doll that works for me. The good thing about Logic Pro is, as I said in my last video, is that I can use the instruments and effects from Reason and Studio One. And if I had FL Studio loaded, which I don't. I think I got rid of that because I was only on a trial on that. I may get it because you can bring in FL Studio and you can open that up in Logic Pro. You can use FL Studio and then drop it in and out. It's a lot of things that you can do. A lot of these dolls intertwine with another. You know, I mean, they really with each other, and I think that's really cool. They're all, you know, Rewire still exists, but it's not needed as much with Reason per se, because Reason's now VST, where I can bring up my Reason rack and I can use Reason effects. Like my favorite Reason reverb goes with me to Logic Pro as it did in Studio One Pro. Some things are just easier to bring in and manipulate. What I love better with Logic Pro is the editing stuff and all the automation. It's just crisp. It's in your face. It's easier to see. It's much easier. The fade outs were amazing. When I created my master fade out, I thought it really faded out very well. I loved it. It was so cool. We'll see on that deal. If you use Logic Pro, let me know any cool tips. Let me know on if you happen to, on the exporting of the individual tracks, bouncing the channels or something. There's got to be a way that's easier than this. So I'm going to investigate further and see. It's part of learning this. It's okay. You know, and the cool thing is I've worked with so many dolls over the years. I know how to get through. The easiest way of learning this, and I think I said this before, is, and I'm writing down key commands as I go along over here. But it's the things you do normally, your workflow, your go-tos. When you go to try to do it, find out where that's at and learn the new way of doing it. Just some little nuances that are different in Logic Pro versus the Studio One or versus to Reason. Just little differences. The key command may be different, or it's in a different place, or it's called something else. At the end of the day, the function is still the same. And that's all that matters. It's okay. The function is there. It just takes you a moment to find out where it's at and what's going on. So the more you use it, the easier it will get. So it'll take me just sitting down, you know, watching YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video of tutorials. And I can tell you right now, every 5 feet on YouTube, there's a Logic Pro tutorial. If I've searched it once, no matter what else I'm watching on YouTube, Logic Pro tutorials. Same thing goes for Studio One. Same thing goes for Reason. Any doll you use, GarageBand is out there. Let's see here. The other one that's cool I'd like to try out is the one that what DAW is that? The free one. The company that just released it, and it's really cool. It's free. It's oh my God, Cakewalk. It was like the first one that was ever put out in existence. Cakewalk, the new Cakewalk, is amazing. If you've seen it, go look at that. It's free, and you can use VSTs and everything in it. But I wouldn't mind toying with that, seeing what the Cakewalk was all about. But anyway, just wanted to get on as an update. I'm loving some Logic Pro, and I think that's going to be, it's really going to help my workflow in 2022 going forward. The sound, the editing, all the sequencing, everything is, there's little quirks though in the cycle range where it's not starting, like there's a gap there to 1 when you set bar 1. I'd like it to start at bar 0 all the time. If anybody knows how to fix that, I really want to do that, because I mean, when I do the track and I hit start, it starts at 1. It starts where the cycle range starts. But when I'm recording and hitting MIDI notes, it throws me off because there's that 4 count that goes right up to 1. And if you miss the mark, it's going to cut off that first note. If that's a better way of explaining it. I'll figure it out. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, I'm off, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Be cool. Thanks. Bye.